Hi, I'm Win Fream and I'm asking for your vote for library trustee. My wife Natalie and I moved into town and we live 2 doors down from the library at 72 Main Street. Being a neighbor and passionate about libraries, becoming deeply involved in the library was a pretty natural fit for us. Our kids utilize the library constantly over the years, and Natalie volunteered as a Friends of the Library vice president many years ago. In 2008, I ran for library trustee, and I've continued to serve since with the great trustees from our town. I take great pride in volunteering. I enjoy our community as a trustee and appreciate your vote and confidence of me as a trustee all these years. When I moved into the town, the library had no driveway, a broken down handicap ramp made of rotted plywood that led to the side door, which is not ideal. The backyard was completely overgrown into woods, when once it was a wonderful garden. The historical sitting room was so piled with junk you could barely use it. There was hardly any space for any type of events, let alone story hour. The staff used a mishmash of clearly secondhand desks, chairs, and computers, and the staff was grossly underpaid compared to similar libraries in the area. Pretty easy to see room for improvement, but it's our town library and it definitely was adored. I started volunteering with snow shoveling and mowing the weeds out back as a neighbor and randomly fixing things for Deborah and little Doris, the librarians at the time. And it was not long before I found myself wanting to help make the library a better place for town. So running a trustee came naturally over the years. With the other trustees, I've worked constantly to improve the services, the program, the grounds, the building, and most importantly, develop staffing for long-term planning. Some of my favorite highlights of my service: clearing the yard and starting the community garden probably around 2010. In 2012, building the addition and driveway and parking lot. Starting movie night at the library for the kids, that was a fun thing once we had the room. Starting the annual pancake breakfast and summer reading cookout. Improving the original building and interiors of many projects over the years. Consistently working on staff compensation plan. Always believing that we can make the library a better place and increase services. And yes, I still snow shovel and mow the weeds. So what are my thoughts for the library in the future? Last year, the board started a 5-year strategic plan. With the Friends' help, we sent out a town-wide survey for feedback on topics that the board and the trustees and the Friends and staff work on every year. We got back 136 surveys, which is really a lot for our town of 650 people, 650 households. As expected, respondents wanted more books, more programs, more services, but unexpectedly, they also see the need for a full-time director, even more open hours, which is even over more open hours, which is usually the number one answer in library services. Surveys like this. There's no question that this is a great set of data to start with. But no matter what we want to do in the library, we need to staff. We need to staff it, and this has been the number one issue at the library for many years. We can't do anything without someone there to mind the library. For the town, this is not a case of throwing money at a position to attract people. Unfortunately, the Seacoast is very limited on quality library candidates. The market is very competitive, with not mostly attractive compensation packages in the region for any library. In short, it's hard to find and attract people for the library. The library salaries are paid through town taxation, not through the library trustees, not through the trust of the trust or the Friends of the Library. On all the boards I've served with, we have discussed what we can and need to offer for compensation. We have raised salaries for the year, every year for the library staff since I've been on the board, with agreement and discussion from every select board. So far over the years, the town has been very agreeable to the library trustees' compensation acts. I think the boards I've served with have done this moderately and responsibly. I've maintained a consistent log of the comps from surrounding towns to justify the ask of the town. To date, we're competitive in staffing at the assistant positions, but on the lower end for the director's positions, with no benefits. I want to change this for the future, and from our survey results, I think the town agrees. I want to work with the town on planning this change over the next 3 years. Every year I've served on the board, I've asked the staff to collect data, to report back to the town, to show the value of the library operations and services. In the 2024 report, you can see some of this data showing that we're growing again to pre-COVID numbers. Thankfully, we have Director Brittany Thompson at the helm doing an amazing job. I want to support her into the future. As friends in the library continue to be a huge help with funding. They are willing and able to support the library's future growth as well. Together with the other trustees, we will create a fiscally responsible plan to meet the town's needs, allowing the library to provide more services and programming. And I believe this will help attract and retain staffing, which is critical to the library's continued success. Thank you for your consideration.